Toast.
Cheers, brother. Welcome back. Wow. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely chapter. There's no question about it, but if you can do it with one of your best friends, it can be even more rewarding than entrepreneurship already is. My best friend, Leo, joined me in scaling Bloom about 7 years ago, and now we're selling 1 million cans a day of Bloom Energy almost. We're doing well over $1 million in revenue every single day. We're going to do over $500 million in revenue this year, and by the end of this year, we will probably be in over 10 countries distributing this energy drink sitting in front of me. This is actually the United Kingdom edition of the can as we sit here in Tuscany, Italy. We're sitting here today to just share what we've learned from our successes and failures. I normally do these videos solo, but I wanted to bring you in today to do a little Q&A.
Well, why don't you just said a crazy stat. We're selling 1 million cans a day. Where did it start? What was your office? Not that I know you had the questions, but let me ask you a question.
Where was our first?
Because it definitely didn't start here.
It definitely didn't start here, and it's not going to end here, brother. It's not going to end here.
No.
But no, Bloom was founded in Boulder, Colorado. My wife and I moved. First of all, Leo ordained Mari and I's wedding. My son's middle name is Leo. We are currently neighbors in Austin, Texas, where we reside. Mari and I fled society to the mountains to go escape any negative energy that we were feeling against our dreams, and stayed in Boulder, Colorado for almost 18 months to just pursue founding this brand. And that laid the foundation for the company. We then moved to Brooklyn, New York in 2019, 2020-ish. Right
before COVID.
And that's where Leo joined Bloom as a company. So technically, Leo is not a co-founder of the company, but joined early on and has been instrumental, and is now a formal partner, large shareholder. What's the word? A major
investor.
A major shareholder of Bloom. And whenever you see me, you're going to see Leo right next to me, basically, is how this works. I want to set the scene of who you are. I know everything about you, obviously, but were you even into the idea of entrepreneurship? When did you get into the idea of entrepreneurship? Give a little background story before we hop into the Q&A.
Yeah. I was at a crossroads between staying on Wall Street or joining this entrepreneurial startup with Greg and Mari, who I knew very well. And there's a Jeff Bezos risk minimalization framework that I think proved very useful, which I used, which was like, picture yourself at 80 and then think about the regrets you would have. And I would have certainly regretted not going into business with my best friends at that point.
So it was the decision was more about the journey and less about the financial potential outcome.
Yeah, because I knew going in I was going to make less money immediately.
It was a step back.
Yeah, it was a step back.
We're going to hop into some questions that viewers submitted onto my Instagram story earlier yesterday. How did you two meet and decide to build together, and what did your families think when you told them? All right, we met in high school. We were neighbors growing up. We shared a bus to high school, and then we carpooled to high school every single day, and once we got our driver's license. I would say we decided to build together because Bloom was at a crossroad where it was just Mari and I. We had a falling out with someone else who was just working with us at the time, so it was truly just Mari and I. And I needed somebody that we could trust, like someone who could just log into the bank accounts day one, somebody who had incremental experience to Mari and I. Like Leo and I are very different in personality, but also very much in skill set. Leo brings very different skills to the table than Mari and I brought to the table. So I would say other people who are thinking about starting a business with a close friend or anybody, your partners should bring incremental talent to the table. So Leo brought system thinking, framework thinking, sales background that I had none of that, right? So that's why Leo was such a great incremental partner to the existing Mari and I team. And then in terms of our families, what they thought, honestly, they were so overwhelmed by just the idea of Mari and I being entrepreneurs in the first place. They were just like, now Leo's joining? You're bringing him into this? Like, what the fuck are you guys up to now? And I was like, oh yeah, we're moving to LA. So they were just
California.
And they weren't haters by any means. Like, they were trying their best, and my parents have been so fucking supportive the entire time. They still are. But they don't come from entrepreneurial backgrounds. They've never been around entrepreneurship, and so their support was just through oh, all right. Good luck with that. That's crazy. But what did your mom and dad say?
No, my dad was into it.
He was like, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he was really into it.
That's dope.
He was like, you're not going to ever get another shot like this in your life.
That's dope.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to Father John.
No.
Should I partner with my homies for my business venture? And how do you know if someone is the right fit? Yeah, I would say make sure they're incremental talent.
Yeah.
How long have you known them? Have you seen them in not just good times, but also bad times, and seen that side of their personality and skill set shine through? I had seen Leo through the best times of our relationships. I had seen Leo when he couldn't get a job, right? I'd seen when he was crushing it in school, when he wasn't doing good in school, and how he responded to those scenarios, right? I mean, how would, if somebody who's thinking about, you know, starting a business with their homie, how would you, what's like a quick way to just audit the situation?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be thoughtful about. I think what you said before is more important. Like, it's like, think about. Everyone has skills, right? Everyone has some inherent drive to do something, and like you don't want to duplicate that, and then you end up doing the same thing because that causes tension too.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important. Like, that's where I would go to first. But the trust and the experience, it's like, or else if we didn't have that, we'd have to figure it out.
I would say Mari, Leo, and I very much had a divide and conquer mindset, and we have thrived with that. Even today, we divide and conquer on key decisions, and we'll get into some of the questions that I think will trigger some of that topic. But like, can you guys divide and conquer? If you have the same skill sets, then it's a 1 + 1 = 1. In our scenario, it's a 1 + 1 = 3. How do you have a friend and business partner at the same time, and how do you keep it healthy? I mean, and then the next question is, how do you handle disagreements, and has the friendship ever genuinely been at risk because of the business? I'm going to be honest, I don't think we've ever had a disagreement or our friendship had been at risk. Like,
I don't think so, no.
If I had been like annoyed with you, it had been for like a couple hours, and it was probably because like I was having a pissy day.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same. And like, look, going through that much time, you're going to have life happen, and you're going to have ups and downs. But I also think that's like we wouldn't be friends if we had disagreements so much.
Yeah.
To begin with, and I think like if you did have disagreements with your friends that much, like maybe you want to audit that relationship. But I feel like when you have a differing opinion than me, because that's maybe like. I respect it, and I think ultimately we're just trying to figure out what is the right decision. Not necessarily who's right, but like what's the right decision, because we both respect that like we come in from different views, and like so when we disagree on a topic, it's not like I'm disagreeing with him as a human. Yes.
It's not personal.
Yeah, no.
We're having a constructive debate because we both want to figure out the right answer. And the reality is, as an entrepreneurship, you never are 100%. So like if someone has a differing opinion, like you need to respect it, and you need to chat it out and have a constructive debate. And you will probably, if you don't end up on either side of each other's spectrum, you probably end up right in the middle or close to one of them. And then you just both charge forward with the decision at that point. So once you're ready to move forward, like you're both in agreement, and you have to charge forward with that. But I would say if there's a topic that's presented that more falls under Leo's skill set, or more falls under Mari's skill set, or more falls under my skill set, that will probably be the key decision maker in that scenario.
Yeah.
Right? If there's like a legality thing, a supply chain thing, like anything number related, like Leo is the guiding voice in that room. If there's something that's more team oriented or whatever it may be, that would be my conversation. If there's more brand, it would be Mari. But no, we've never had like business get in the way of friendship, and we've had tough business scenarios. And now that we've had kids, like we had like some element of like paternity leave. Obviously, like our commitment, our physical commitment of hours in the office has changed drastically, and like that just comes down to trust. Of like I know Leo's going to handle what he needs to handle, and I would imagine you feel the same about me.
Yeah, yeah.
Was there ever, in recent memory, or in the last 8 years of memory, was there ever a moment where a retailer, distributor, or major partner said no, and how did you respond?
Yeah.
I mean, it happens once a month.
Yeah. I mean,
we have a board now who like declines our ideas all the time. We have, which is great. That's why we have them, to like, we don't want to be surrounded by yes men. And like they'll tell us why. They don't just say no because like they have an ego or something. But when retailers have said no, and this may be an egotistical response, my response is always find their boss.
Yeah, and I would say that question, you're putting the no in someone else's hands. There's a lot of times in business where, like, let's say, for example, you're launching TikTok Shop and you try it for 6 months and it doesn't work, and you say to yourself, no, this this isn't for me, I need to do something else, and your business still isn't growing yet, you know, there's 100 other companies that have scaled to 100 million on TikTok Shop, you need to revisit the no you're telling yourself.
I wasn't even ready for that one.
Yeah, because like I think you can put the agency of no in someone else's hands, but a lot of times in business, it's your own. It's the no's you're telling yourself that are holding you back.
The inner dialogue is the true barrier of entry of any challenge that you're approaching. If it's an exterior dialogue saying no, then I don't know, put your money where your mouth is and just fucking pay them until they say yes and figure out how to get that money.
Well, and I think to your point, no in that context is call someone else, like angle into the buyer. And it's the same if you're like, oh no, this isn't working, I'm not doing this, no to myself, I'm not going to continue doing this. Go reach out to 100 people that are doing this successfully and figure out maybe you're just missing something huge.
Was there a version of yourself from year 1 or 2 that you had to kill off in order to grow? A belief, a habit, or an identity?
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, like thinking I needed to do everything myself, which is a big one.
And we see that with so many up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
Yeah, thinking you need to do everything yourself, that's a big one.
I think it was the idea that if someone else is doing it, then why can't we too? So now when we see somebody, if Leo or I come across somebody in the business vertical that's doing something that's incredibly impressive, we will go make it our priority to spend time with them and pick their brain so that we can go back to HQ and send our soldiers out there, send our amazing team out there to go create a similar program for Bloom. And in the early days when we would see a business doing something amazing, we would just go, wow, they're really special.
Yeah.
Nobody that is doing business is any greater than you. We're all just humans. And the best thing is you don't even need to come up with an original idea in that scenario. You can just do what they're doing. We didn't come up with crushing TikTok Shop. Someone else was doing it, and it took us 12 months, but we fucking figured it out. Was there ever a season where the business was thriving, but your personal life was quietly falling apart?
Yeah. I could go into it. Yeah, I mean, I
you don't need to give specifics, whatever you want.
Well, no, I'm happy to. Dude, in January we did the deal, life-changing, on paper. And I think
January 2024, we did a transaction where we both made generational wealth.
Okay. And we did that deal, and I was still, this is before I was married, before I had kids.
Were you dating?
Yeah, I was with my now wife, Priscilla.
I don't think I had met her yet.
No, yes, you did. No, and we did the deal, and I'm like still, it was successful business. The business was going well, professionally success. And I was like, I still don't feel great. And I went on a journey of therapy and like even blood work, which I guess I'll actually go into here, where I still had this anxiety, this under the surface anxiety that didn't stop, and like the money didn't change any of that. And ultimately it was personal work and medical work, I guess. Physical and mental work to get to a point where like I actually felt great, and I've been feeling better than ever. And I have more responsibilities.
So was that like a traditional therapist? Was it a life coach?
No. So I would say I tried not traditional American medicine. I don't necessarily believe in. So on the therapy side, I did a psychedelic therapy. I had issues in my youth, and they were kind of like bubbling up to the surface, to not go into it. And those are things I just needed to handle because they're affecting my relationships, my outlook on life. And then, when I started to do my blood work and look at, okay, how biologically am I, there were some big issues and some things that I needed to optimize. And it took, a year of trying different supplements and medicines to fix it. But now, as I've gone through that journey, I don't do therapy ongoing. I don't believe in.
You're not like a maintenance scenario?
No, I don't really believe in the prescription of always being therapized. Therapized. Because it's like you have issues, you should be able to fix them. But the medicine also has helped significantly too, because like.
You don't mean pharma mental health. You mean like hormone optimization?
Yes, yeah. No, like low testosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to testosterone.
Yeah. No, that was a big one. That was like, that was like I modified that and I started feeling way better.
This is not doctor advice. I am not a doctor. If
Nor
you are under the cortisol or stress or pressure that entrepreneurship carries every single day, and generally your sleep is fucked, your daylight is fucked, the amount of daylight on your skin, like, you need to take exogenous support for a lot of your hormones and or minerals and vitamins and whatever it may be. And if you can optimize those things, it removes an entire variable where you can go combat that cortisol and stress so much more effectively. And I talk about entrepreneurs, let alone just individuals, who have a toxic amount of pride and they think they're too good for the modern medical system and to take exogenous help. You guys do that, because we're going to do this in Tuscany and take testosterone.
Well, even if you think about it, it's like drinking is exogenous, right? Drinking alcohol is exogenous.
Nicotine's, all these things are tools.
And so like a lot of the vices that our culture accepts are these things that actually have detriments to your health.
The same people who are drinking all fucking day won't take hormone replacement.
Won't optimize, because I think it's just stigmatizing culture.
Next act. We're going into some like real good tactical entrepreneurship questions from the entrepreneurs who submitted questions.
Yep.
This is the question. What to expect in the first year of e-com?
Dude, I think you should answer this.
I guess Leo doesn't have experience in the first year of e-com. Yeah. My experience in the first year of e-com was tens of thousands of dollars in revenue, and then the same amount plus probably more being reinvested back in. We didn't take a personal salary the first couple of years. It was just whatever we needed to pay for rent. What to expect in the first year of e-com could be anywhere from a couple tens of thousands of dollars to a low couple hundred thousands of dollars, and then I would call that a massive success. But what I think is what you should really be trying to get out of it is the experience of trying things. And hopefully by the end of that first year, you have some clarity on what you're good at, what you're bad at, and the direction that you may end up taking that business. So I would call the first year of any business, e-com or not, a learning year.
Well,
fair answer?
That was good.
Best advice for starting a business with no following or capital, and what's the minimum you actually need to launch a CPG brand? We actually just had this conversation. I would say the minimum you need to launch a CPG brand is $35,000. I think that if you're launching a supplement or something where like the cost of good is under $20, a lot under $20 hopefully, you can make a minimum order quantity at a small manufacturer for, call it $20,000, and then you have $15,000 to like launch the website and get some movement going on performance ads and TikTok Shop. I'm going to leave that answer there. I could obviously get way more into detail, but I think that's all you need to know. Hopefully that will give you some clarity. If you have no following or capital, which is where Mari and I were when we started our business, we also had no utility. We also had no skills and no experience.
Doing customer service in the DM.
All we knew how to do was get in shape. All we knew how to do was lose body fat and lift weights. And you may be sitting there and say, I have no skills. I don't know what to start this business on. I don't even know, what people want. The borders of the world have been broken down through social media, and I don't care if you're a quilt maker or you make chairs like this or you make a hell of a tequila, you can sell that product worldwide through social media, and you can find those people through social media. If you have no following, you will need to rely more on performance ads. Obviously, you will need to go find those people through paid marketing, but you can also make some killer fucking content and just show people how you are getting in shape, how you are making quilts, how you are making chairs. And it will be a slower first year. It will be a slower first 2 years. But like, we have always grown Bloom publicly. We have always actively created our own organic content, and that has been initially the largest generator of revenue of the brand. And I truly think that's the only way to do it today. Some of the biggest affiliates on TikTok Shop are coming from owned organic profiles that started at zero. So don't just take it from us. Like, there's brands that are doing it, and how many fucking videos are they posting a day?
Yeah, I mean, there's some people posting 100 videos a day.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. And like it doesn't need to be how it was back in the day on Instagram where you posted one like really high quality post. On TikTok, you can just be posting like unedited videos 100 times. Someone that I've been watching a lot is actually the head of social media for WAP. This guy just props his iPhone up and is just cranking out reels and trial reels and TikToks, just venting motivational quotes. That's the utility he's providing to the world. And it's like,
that's great.
Because he did that page, he's now crushing it as a social media manager for one of the fastest growing tech companies, and who knows what he ends up doing with this following that he accumulates. I think he's at over 300,000 followers now.
That's insane.
That happened in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But like, he doesn't necessarily have a skill. He's yelling into the camera. I get utility out. I love viewing them. All right. How would I make the switch from corporate world to running a business?
Yeah. I think in corporations, you are usually, unless you're coming as a CEO, you're coming from the CEO, which I doubt. That's the scenario here. You are going to be in a specialized role. Immediately when you go into business, you have to do everything. And so what becomes overwhelming is doing everything isn't necessarily productive. And this is where having an understanding, watching videos like these, of what is the highest leverage things you could be doing in online CPG businesses, it's marketing. Marketing and product, making sure your product is great and marketing it. And those are the two highest leverage. If you could put your time into, you'll get the most out of that.
Interesting question. Should you prioritize the product or the platform at the start?
Oh.
I think you're thinking too deep on this.
They're not like trying to start Amazon. That's a platform. Are you trying to start Amazon?
No, what platform to sell on?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, I would not think platform first. Unless you're coming from experience at a job where you like crushed that platform.
Yeah.
But if you're coming from like you're a 19-year-old, I would think product first, and then the platform should be obvious where to launch that product.
Well, and product first. So like if you make let's just say, a supplement version of Cialis, you're probably going to be selling to older people, and that is probably going to be a consumer who's on Facebook or Instagram, and not necessarily on TikTok because they're older.
Good point.
Male.
I think Leo and I will have very different answers to this, which is why it's a great question. How to find a manufacturer you can rely on?
Oh yeah. You want me to answer this first?
All right, I'll give you my
give this one.
Dumb kid from New York answer. This was my thought, and it worked, which was we literally wanted to find a manufacturer that we could regularly drive to. So that limited just New Jersey and New York to manufacturers that we would work with. And I wanted to go be able to check it out in person because we were the quality assurance team. And I also wanted to use that manufacturer for content. We didn't have money for plane tickets. Like travel was out of the question. So we had to be able to drive there. And I wanted to be able to go check it out in person and make sure they were half legit. And I knew one day we could switch from there once the business scaled. So that's how I found it, but I know Leo's going to have like a really great answer for this.
It's a great question because there's not great information online, and if you ask AI this question, they're not going to give you good answers. Unfortunately, in operations and in manufacturing, a lot of the knowledge lives with people, and a lot of the business is still done over the phone and emails. So like there's not a lot on the internet talking about who's the best manufacturer. What I would do is I would go to LinkedIn and I would go to whatever industry you're looking at. I would try and look at director level or VP level people in operations or supply chain, and I would message them as a aspiring entrepreneur in the space and just wanted to get 30 minutes of their time to learn about the manufacturing, mix or market, or learn about their career and ask them, these questions. And I'm sure you reach out to 100 people, you get 10 people to respond, and you will probably get a very good manufacturer mix with different pros and cons of whatever industry you're looking at.
Why did you say director or VP and not like someone very high up?
I think if you start to go COO or even founder, you're one of the many people reaching out to them. Yeah. And VP, they might have just been promoted. Well, VP might have just been promoted, and they're not getting as much inbound as C-suite or founders. And you have to remember, as you think about an organization, the CEO is doing strategic things. They're not like dealing with the manufacturer mix anymore. They're just looking at the net cost of products.
Would you be open to offering that person money for their time?
Yeah.
Like how much would be like half an hour of their time?
I mean, they're
$500.
Not even. Yeah. Not even. Like, you could do it for free.
Yeah, I know, but you'd be open to paying.
Yeah, $100, $200 bucks.
Yeah,
not even.
Do you recommend CPG over other business types for financial and time freedom? I mean, guys, like we have warehouses around the country with tens of millions of these cans at all time. CPG is definitely a time-intensive, human capital-intensive business venture to go after. I don't know what you consider financial freedom. It is definitely, I think, more lucrative than the general public thinks. Like, we all see like these like tech booms and AI stocks and all that fast money with crypto. There's a lot of money in CPG, and there are definitely people who like started in America and now like run a fully remote company in another country and they're living their best life. Like, we've definitely heard those stories as well. I think that's just a matter of how you structure any business. There's also very time-intensive agencies. So like, I think it's more so just how you end up building that business and how aggressively you want to be involved. I wouldn't plan the vertical that you go into or the industry you go into based off of like how much financial freedom it gives you. Also, that's always relative, that answer. What is financial freedom? My answer is probably very different than yours. Do you think it's bad to look far in the future as a business owner? I dwell on 5, 7, 10 year, etc.
Oh,
that's a sick answer. A sick question. Early on in entrepreneurship, I am not fucking with you when I say,
let me get the letter.
We would think 3 to 6 months out. Like, if not 1 month out. Almost to our fault, because once we entered retail and we had to start thinking 12 to 18 months out, we were not prepared as a business to do that. And now we work with large strategic partners where we need to literally already be talking about 2028 in the first quarter of 2026. But I think that like the problem with thinking more than even 2 years out is how fast culture is changing, how fast society is changing. If you're trying to plan 5 years out, dude, I don't know what the fuck this world's going to look like in 5 years, but it's going to look insane with everything that's going on with AI and retail stores and the shift of wealth and the amount of people that are going to go make a shit ton of money with all of these tech booms that are about to go on. Like, the world's about to change a lot. When I say about to, I mean in the next 3 to 5 years. So for you to plan for more than 5 years out, I think is a very just foolish waste of your time.
Fuck, yeah. Especially if you're just starting, right? The longer your business has been around, the longer you could potentially plan out, because it's moving.
But don't play yourself. Yeah,
no, and there's different parts of the business that need longer term planning versus if you're talking about marketing and sales, like that's pretty immediate.
Yes.
I don't think you want to have a vision for what 3 years can be, but tactically you want to live within 12 to 24 months. And in the earlier phases, like if we weren't in retail and doing a large scale business with large scale partners, you'd be sub 12 months.
Yeah. So for most people watching this video, sub 12 months. And I would say if your business is doing less than $30 million a year, sub 12 months, depending on, the industry you're in. How to find great people to work with on the brand in the early stages, like Leo, for example. I found Leo 2 years in. 2 years in. I think that if you don't have a proof of...
Yo, no.
I
found me in the streets of New York. I was homeless.
I think that unless you have a true proof of concept, it's very rare you're going to find anyone of substantial talent. And the people who did join, that we were blessed to join this team, and I have a few names in mind that are still on the team today, they are people who are actually they're not total senior roles in the business today. So they were perfect for the stage in the business early on. They weren't perfect for the business for leading the business today, but they're such incredible young minds that are open-minded, where they have allowed us and embraced us, putting leadership above them so that they could learn from them. So I would say in the very beginning, you really just want a fucking hustler with you. Again, somebody who brings incremental talent that is down to sacrifice their 20s with you. That is like the two things that you're looking for. Yeah. Are you willing to fucking grind with me? Do you not have any drama that you're going to bring into this that's going to distract you? And do you bring incremental talent? And if they check those boxes, I would offer them a contract that resets every 6 months or gets renegotiated every 6 months, and you give them a percentage of revenue. That's what I would do. You give them a percentage of revenue with a very low base salary, and when I eat, you fucking eat. Our first 3 employees, they just got a percentage of Shopify sales. How else are you going to have somebody who's truly feeling like they don't give a fuck? What is equity in the early stages of your business? No one really cares about the enterprise value of your business. It doesn't exist. So I would say offer them a percentage of revenue so that when you eat, they fucking eat. How to find serious capital and how do you manage investors without losing ownership? There is one very simple answer to this. Wait. We bootstrapped Bloom until it was doing $180 million in revenue a year. It was really fucking hard. We had to clench our asshole every single day. There was times where we were literally tens of millions of dollars in debt. Technically, we had accounts payable due soon worth tens of millions of dollars, and we did not have that in the bank account. And you just need to put your back up against the wall and figure it out. And I know that's a tough answer, but the longer you can wait to sell shares, the better that strategic partner will be. And we found one that's incredible because we waited. And the less ownership of your company you can give up. Our first transaction was a minority transaction. We lost no control of the business because we waited so long and the enterprise value of our business was so high. In fact, when we first did when we've done transactions for our business, none of the money even went into the business. It all went to us and to our stockholders, which was us, because the business didn't even need the money. So I think in 2026, you need to figure out how to just build your business profitably.
Well, and I think it's a sophisticated question. So depending on the industry you're going into, if it's a capital-intensive industry, then yes, you could think about, all right, I really need to raise money for this because I need to go, make an AI chip. But if you're talking about CPG and you're talking about a business that's profitable from day one, I think you want to probably stay away from raising money. There's so many success stories of businesses scaling to hundreds of millions with no money taken in.
Yes.
And with social media as a leverage, right? Like you don't need to raise money. You use social media and you could augment your sales. You could fast forward 10 years.
So before starting a physical product with Bloom, Mari and I had no money, so we sold an instant download PDF. In today's world, you would start a course on one of these academic websites, such as SKOOL School or such as WAP, and you could just use side hustle. And that's how you come up with the money. Don't sell ownership unless you fucking have to or the time is truly right. That's I feel really strongly about that. All right, this is a nice one to close us out. What's the single best piece of advice you'd give a young entrepreneur aged 18 to 21?
Assuming they haven't started a business yet? I'll assume that. I would really define what you're looking to do, and my experience has been, I learned sales. I learned sales as a tool they've been using from the 1950s, cold calling people, cold emailing people since the 90s, right? I learned that skill set. I did well. It didn't have the best return on invested time in the industry I was doing. I applied that skill set to Bloom, and the return was insane. And so I think in today's day and age, there's a ton of legacy businesses that have been around for a long time that are great businesses, and you can learn a lot there. And if you take some of the practices there and just apply them to new age businesses, the returns are astronomical because no one has applied simple concepts to new age businesses.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that I say all the time, which is just like the American dream is more alive than ever. And so if there's a single piece of advice that I can give an 18 to 21-year-old today that wants to go after entrepreneurship, it's like, just go fucking try. That's all you can do. Try something. It's movement is the answer. The only way is through. Yeah. The only answer is action.
The only way through is through.
The only way through is through. And so it's like, just go fucking try and just keep trying. And if it doesn't work, try something else. I mean, you have access to videos like this today from some of the best minds in business and some of the best minds in marketing, some of the best minds in sales. And it's like, just study this shit in all of your downtime. Clean up the media that you're viewing.
And talk to people.
Yeah.
Like,
And if you can't, because no one wants to talk to you because you have no utility, then watch these videos. We only scratched the surface today. The next lessons video we're going to film 3 days after we post this video on YouTube. I need to know what you guys need to hear from us. Some things are obvious to us. We don't even think about it. Comment below. DM me. Comment on my Instagram. We're posting these videos at least once a week. And I want to provide just a tremendous amount of value to pass down our lessons to you guys. This is going to be a fun run. A generational run of a YouTube channel. Thanks, Leo. That's fucking sick.
Awesome.